press record now, because I wanted to talk a little bit here at the beginning, and I figured I can just record it and then edit this down for YouTube to update them. I don't want to repeat myself. That's really it. I'm too lazy. Two birds, one stone. I missed you guys. I really did. Words can't explain how much I missed streaming, and like I can't believe how much I take for granted, like the amount of time I spend on the weekends streaming with anything, with the gaming or art or whatever it is I do. Like, I was really taking it for granted. Pardon my voice, it is going. It was a long weekend. So before I get started on the long weekend, I was gonna ramble a little bit on about that. Just know, guys, I missed you. I missed streaming. I missed gaming. I wanted to draw so bad, so much over the weekend, but I couldn't. I will get to that. But quick update here on both Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. So this week I have my schedule already on Discord, and you guys have probably seen it. Next week I start my new job officially. That week will start with a few days that we don't open the store, and we're just going to be training, hopefully more thoroughly than what it was at, like, over the weekend. So what I am going to do is I am going to at least take off that first training week from streaming. I can guarantee that I will find time to edit my video around the training schedule, because it's only going to be a few hours worth of a shift each day for training. So yeah, I'll definitely have time to edit videos. As far as videos go, this week you guys are going to get this one on YouTube. Just to have you guys all updated and you guys know what all is going on. I feel better making a video where I can thoroughly explain everything and you guys are up to date. I could use the community tab, but I feel like when it comes to YouTube, you're not really looking at the community tab. You're more so looking at the videos. Like, yeah, the community tab pops up to, like, in your subscriptions, but still, I don't really care for just using that. Oh really? How are you? Are you hyper because of the rain? Parzival's just flat on his back. He's got his toy in his mouth. He's looking guilty. He's looking real guilty. Woo! Anyway. God. Again, I'm so sorry about my voice. Anyway, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah. So, at the very least, next week I will not be streaming. I am going to make a banner and I'm going to put it on my channel and just let you guys know that I will either be back next week, or no, sorry, not next week. So when I'm saying next week, by the way, today is the 14th of August. When I'm saying next week, my first day of training will be the 21st of August. That whole week is going to be 3 days worth of training, and then the next 3 days, I think we're going to stay closed on Sunday the 27th, but then the next 3 days is going to be what they call friends and family, where literally anybody can come through the drive-thru, get any coffee drink they want, free of charge. Which I'm not sure how well that's gonna go over. And then the week after that, the week of the 28th, will be the first proper week we're open. So I might take that week off as well from streaming. And I have Audi videos that I can edit, and I can stay ahead. So Audi will definitely be back up next week. I'm sorry about the huge gap between part 1 and part 2, guys. I'm really, really sorry. I just, my life is very much in transition right now, and my life is in chaos right now. And with that trip over the weekend, I thought I could plan around it. I couldn't. I'll get to that. But Audi will be picking up next week. On the 24th will be part 2 for you guys. I'm so sorry. Because this week I wanted to do a little bit more for a little bit of, sorry. this week I wanted to do a couple of other things on YouTube. For one, I wanted to update you guys. So this video is going to need edited down and uploaded. And I want to get my world record Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse run uploaded. It was a time that I was going for, which was 2:46 something or other was my goal. And I got it on my last run. So it's just sitting on my PC. I need to edit the beginning out a little bit because there's a lot of extra stuff that I want to edit out. And then I need to upload it to YouTube so I can link that to speedrun.com, and it should be world record unless someone else snuck up on me. If not, I might battle again for more. But yeah, so this week you guys get 2 videos. And then next week, the 24th, you guys will get more Ori. So, I'm also planning like more shorts and stuff like that. So, I might mess around with that. The hard part is just finding the time to edit, which is another reason why I am taking next week off of streaming, because I want to put more to YouTube. I had this realization recently that, like, and it was, shout outs to Catliente, by the way. If anybody knows who she is, streamer, artist, content creator, YouTuber, TikToker, whatever you want to call her, she does a lot of advice as far as content creation goes. And one of the videos recently that she posted, she said, if you're going to commit to something, commit to YouTube over Twitch. And she made a good point. Twitch disappears after 7 to 14 days, right? Like, your VODs just disappear, right? So YouTube is forever, at least. So if you want to build, you want to build there. So it makes sense. So shout outs to her. I do, like, if I'm going to commit more to my content creation, I think it should be leaning more towards YouTube, but I like live streaming as well. It's more fun hanging out with people in real time. So that's not going anywhere. It's just I want to commit more to YouTube. Final time was 2:46:31. My goal was a 2:46 something or other, so that's a run I'm happy with that will be submitted to speedrun.com. And it should be world record. Unless someone snuck up on me. I'm gonna be creeping on your new record, by the way. I want to see if you do something different that I can learn how to improve my time further. I might. It's not really something I want to commit to now with everything going on, but maybe. Gonna commit a little bit more to YouTube and everything. And actually, recently on YouTube, I got this super cute comment on my Fatal Frame 4 playthrough. Another Fatal Frame fan came across my playthrough, and they were like, "Oh, I really like Fatal Frame," and I agree with you as far as Maiden of Blackwater, and then they shared their tier list of the whole franchise and all that, so super cute comment. I really appreciated it, and it's just really nice to meet other Fatal Frame fans. Like, I just feel like we're so few and far between. I need to find you guys. I want to be friends. New Game Plus normal? Yes. I might actually, since I've done so well on normal, I might run easy, hard, and nightmare as well. Just because most of the runs are just routing, and I've got the routing down pat. So I may as well run all the other categories and put them on speedrun.com. But I think my main category might just be normal New Game Plus because, well, we'll see. Because if I can figure it out on normal, I should be able to commit it to the other levels. The part I'm hesitant about on hard and nightmare mode is the phase 8 puzzle, the 4th floor puzzle. They're not numbered on hard and nightmare. And then also the piano puzzle is really weird on hard and nightmare mode. Those ones have stumped me even on normal mode, so they're scary to think about on hard and nightmare. It could just downright kill the run, and it's already such a long run. I hate it when it dies towards the end. But yeah, so that's the game plan. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind as far as my schedule is that I am going to be taking possibly at maximum the next 2 weeks off from streaming. Also, so, My store starts training on the 21st of August. We're officially opened on the 28th of August. And then we're just open, right? On the 9th of September, the second Saturday, we are open. There is an event going on to get like more publicity and more customers and things like that. And I have a wedding to go to on that day. And the wedding ceremony, I think, is at like 3 p.m. So, and it's over in Pennsylvania. So I have to take that day off because there is no way that I'll be able to work my shift, get home, get a shower, get dressed, and make it to Pennsylvania in time for the wedding. So I have to miss the big event day, I guess. So the weekend. I want to talk about this just because I really want to vent, okay? Because I need to vent. It was insane. Okay? So when I upload my speedrun for speedrun.com, the next Fatal Frame speedrun, you'll see in the middle of the run, I start almost having an anxiety attack. I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that I'm on the verge of one, but I'm literally like having an anxiety midway through this, having an anxiety attack midway through this run because my phone was going off around like noon. Now this was Wednesday, the 9th, was when I got that world record run. I was in the middle of stream and my phone started going off. So on Wednesday the 9th, I started getting all these texts because I had no information about the flights that I was going to be on to get to Arkansas to get trained. That's where the headquarters of the company was, and we were being flown out there. It was supposed to be a really cool experience. It was supposed to be fun, very laid back, just kind of getting used to the culture and all that fun stuff. But we were flying out on the 10th. Okay? And I didn't get my information about my flight until noon on the 9th. How do you plan anything? Whoa, okay, I'm still very worked up about it. So yeah, like, I had no information on my flight. I was receiving it while I was in the middle of a really good speed run, so my heart was already racing. And like, so earlier that week, I actually said something to like the other manager, whoever was there, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make the flight. My mom works during the day, my boyfriend works during the day, I'm not gonna have a ride to the airport. And they're like, oh, it's okay, the flight will be at like 5 or 6 p.m. in the evening. I was like, oh, okay, then that's fine. Because at 5 or 6 p.m., I can most likely come across somebody who can give me a ride. All well and good. Well, again, I didn't get my information about my flight until about noon the day before my flight, and found out that my flight left at 1 p.m. the next day. So my flight was at 1 p.m. You're competitive with yourself, though? No, I have very high expectations of myself. I wouldn't say that's competitive. That's just unhealthy. But anyway, so my flight was at 1 p.m. I didn't have a ride, so I called my manager. And he was like, I figured something like this would happen while everything was going crazy like this. And he told me that he was willing to give me a ride because we were on the same flight. And so he asked if I was comfortable with that. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Just come and pick me up. We're going to be on the same flight anyway. If you're cool with that, I really appreciate it. I'm sorry that this had to happen like this, even with gas prices the way that they are, but he seemed super understanding because he said he basically expected this. So about an hour after that phone call, like, I was feeling good. I was ready to go, and like, I was feeling pretty good about the whole thing, even with the short notice about the flight. He calls back and he says, so I got bumped to an earlier flight. And it's so early that I don't think I'm going to have the time to come and get you and still make it to the airport in time. So, you have two options. You can park at the airport and we will reimburse you. However, I have heard tales of people's cars getting broken into while sitting in an airport parking lot, and I wasn't about to have that. And two, I also didn't trust that they were actually going to reimburse me. So, yeah, I didn't want to go that route. So he told me, or you can contact the group chat, send out a mass message, and see if maybe somebody lives close enough and is willing to give you a ride and help you out. Blaming corporate. It was all corporate's fault! So, like I said, I didn't want to park at the airport. So I asked the group chat. I told them relatively where I lived. And I was like, I'll understand if nobody can do it, but if you have the opportunity, reach out to me. I would really appreciate the help. Well, ironically, there's another girl named Finn who works for the company now. Well, actually, her full name is Fenor, and she goes by Finny. But everybody started calling her Finn. Do you have any idea how confusing this has been for me? She wanted to go by Finn, and I'm like, okay, or she wants to go by Finny, and I was like, okay, I can roll with that, because I have never gone by Finny. Never. Another Finn? Yeah, I thought it was really ironic. But her name is Fenor, and it's a very, Gaelic name. She showed me how it's spelled, too, and I was like, what? Where's the B come from? Anyway, it was really funny. We had a whole conversation about it. So Finny came in clutch, and she was being dropped off by her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was super awesome and was willing to pick me up as well. They were both really cool about it, and yeah. When we got to the airport, our terminal was closed at first, and they said they weren't going to open until 2 hours before the flight, and I was like, so 2 hours? You mean right now? Yeah, I don't know if they were having like a staff meeting or something. I think I saw something on the door that said something about a staff meeting or something like that, and it must have gone over. So they were like, they were like 10 minutes after the time of 2 hours before the flight. So I started kind of getting scared that we were going to be able to make it onto the flight in time and all that. We did. We ended up meeting up with another one of the girls who was coming with us, who was on the same flight. But yeah, so the flights went over fine. There was no sort of delays or anything. But the flight from my airport, the local airport that I flew out of, it went to Chicago O'Hare, which is one of the largest airports in the United States. It's one of the international ones too. It's massive. Looks more like a shopping mall than an airport, if you ask me. We had a layover there, and Chicago is known as the Windy City. And I've been to Chicago before, and we were walking down the street, and I remember I came around one of the skyscrapers, and it was just like this wall, it was like a wind tunnel. Like, I felt like the moment I stepped out from around this building that was blocking the wind, I felt like I was going to be taken away. So you can only imagine what takeoff and landing in and out of Chicago on an airplane would be like. It was a little shaky, if I'm honest. So then, I mean, aside from some turbulence, the pilots were amazing. They were super friendly as well. And obviously I didn't die. The planes made it to and from point A to point B, so pilots did amazing, if you ask me. So we got there. I got there pretty late on Thursday. It was around like 6 p.m. by the time I got there. I went up to my room. My roommate had already been checked in. My roommate, her name was Kayla. She was super cool. Very chill, and like I would tell her, it's like, it's like, hey, I would like to go back and I would like to get a shower and everything. And she's like, oh yeah, I already got mine. We're all good and blah, blah, blah. So like we were very communicative and she was super cool. So we went out to dinner that night with the people who had arrived. There were still people who were on flights who weren't getting there until like 9 p.m. There's a quote I like. If you manage to land a plane and you can walk out, it's a good landing. If you can use the airplane the next day, it's a great landing. I like that. I've never heard that before. But yeah, when I went to LA, it was in January when I went to LA. So it was nice and warm in LA, but on the return flight, we had a flight from LA to O'Hare, which was the Chicago airport as well. And then O'Hare to my local airport. Well, from Chicago to my airport, we came in a blizzard. And I kid you not, the plane was like this all the way until touchdown. Like, it was pretty scary, actually. But, again, pilot did amazing. So, anyway, so Friday was supposed to be the first day of training for the weekend. And I heard some talk about a training unit. So I thought there was like a designated unit dedicated to like training and all that stuff, but apparently it's not. It's kind of weird. Never been on an airplane before. I wonder what it's like. I like flying. I don't like airports, but I like flying. The hotel was actually connected to the Arkansas State University. So like the decor was like, it looked like stuff you picked up at a thrift store. Like, you know, college dorm decor kind of stuff, kind of look, you know. And I mean, I didn't mind it. It was bizarre, but it didn't bother me. However, this hotel didn't offer complimentary breakfast or anything, which most hotels do, I thought. So, they contacted us and told us that we were allowed to get breakfast and charge it to the room so long as we don't exceed $15. Well, the hotel's prices, a freaking egg, ham, and cheese sandwich was like $11. So that $15 threshold was very easy to match. And then something weird happened with the rooms where like I put my name down to charge for my room, but my name wasn't on the room, but my roommate's name was on the room. So I don't know. I don't know. Here in England where I live, there's really posh hotel that would do services for you. Yeah, like most hotels, like they have complimentary coffee and tea in the room. They also have like a water fountain available to fill up your pitchers and everything. They offered breakfast from like 6:30 to like 10:30 a.m. like where you could just go down and it's like buffet style breakfast. Like, but this hotel didn't do any of that. It was weird. So we went to the training unit and met a bunch of people. They were all like super energetic and super nice. They all made us all drinks. It was really great. I had a funnel cake macchiato. It was yummy. So then I'm sitting at the at the training unit and they're going around, they're asking everybody's names, and somebody came by and they're like, "Oh, I'm your trainer. That's great. I'm glad I found you." I was like, "Okay, cool." So she sat down and started talking to me, and she starts asking, "So, do you know she goes, "So, do you know which stand you're going to be working at?" I go, "No." And she goes, "Do you know how late you're working?" I go, "No." She goes, "Do you know where you're going to be tomorrow?" I go, "No." And she goes, "You really don't know anything?" I was like, "No. Nothing's been said to me." That sounds so good. I want one. Oh, the funnel cake macchiato. Yeah, it was like cinnamon and caramel flavored. It was really good. Why didn't they give you any papers or such to help you with? I don't know. And here's the part that blows my mind the most. We were all in a group chat. Why didn't they send out any text messages? Do you know how easy it would be to communicate to everybody that needed to know this stuff to just send out a big text message with some excess information? Why? Here's the real kicker, okay? here's the real kicker about the whole thing. Because after I was talking to my trainer, she actually went to somebody else, and then papers got handed out with our weekend's itinerary. So I looked at it, I was like, oh wow, we're only working like 5 hours each day? That's cool, that's really nice. I think I can roll with that. Corporate is a bitch, that's why, yeah? That's putting it mildly, Blue. Oh my god. You know, they put themselves up on this high pedestal, like they are so good at what they do. And then they can't even plan a fucking flight. Okay, winning 9-2, let's go, Boo! But wait, it gets better, okay? Okay, it gets better, okay? So, yes, Mom's getting Mom's getting dramatic, I know. Parzival came in. He got scared. Oh my god, I missed him so much, by the way. My little Parzival puppy. I got home last night and he was so happy to see me. Yes, he was. You stink. You need a bath. I'll give you a bath tomorrow. What's the matter? You okay? Why are you scared? Why are you scared? Are you okay? It's alright. I know Mom's shouting. I'm just excited. I'm just excited and dramatic. Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? Oh, okay. I'm back. I almost went to the wrong scene. So, like I said, that wasn't even the best part, okay? So, let me think. We got an itinerary. And then about an hour after the itineraries were passed out, my trainers, like we were in like a group of like 4. So there were 4 trainers and 4 trainees, right? And someone came out to talk to the 4 trainers and they're like, so some of these guys are on really early morning flights. So we're gonna have to cancel the Sunday shift. So you guys are closing tonight. Is that okay? Like they didn't even look at us. They were only asking the trainers. Like, and the store closes at 11 p.m. And keep in mind, we met at the training unit at 10 a.m. And here is why. Here is why the flights were as screwed up as they were, okay? The hotel that we stayed at was called the Graduate. And like I said, it was actually attached to the Arkansas State University. This weekend was freshman move-in weekend. Whose idea was that? What's wrong with a Holiday Inn? Why did we have to stay at that one? The hotel was booked pretty full, and so were the flights, which was why it was so hard to get flights in and out of that airport. So the flights were screwed up, so they canceled the Sunday shift, and they slapped it on the ass end of our Friday shift, resulting us in starting training at 10 a.m. at the training unit to not getting back to the hotel until well after 11 p.m. All the while, this was a training shift. I swear, corporate does not understand the complexity of training and learning. You know, a 12-hour shift, sure, a seasoned employee can pretty much pull that off easy. However, 12 hours of training and learning is a whole other ballgame. I also wore the wrong shoes, so my back hurt a lot. So yeah, the first day, focus camera, there we go. So yeah, the first day was interesting, to say the least. And, like, they were telling us, like, oh, this was not the intention and blah, blah, blah. but it's always a good idea to understand that most of the time your plans don't work out the way you planned them. And it's good to know that you guys are adaptable. Adaptable? You flew us out of the state! Where did you think I was gonna go? You were my ride to and from the airport. You're the one who dragged my ass out here, and you're saying I was being adaptable by working a 12-hour training shift. I had nowhere else to go. Corporate, how can we screw over our new trainees? I know, let's schedule it the worst time and let's not tell anyone anything. Sounds about right. What the fuck? Yeah, that's basically all I was saying all weekend. Also, that 12-hour day. So, to understand, it's a drive-through company, by the way. So everything is open to the customers in the drive-through. So, like, there's all these open doors, and you're working outside in the drive-through as well. There was a heat advisory on that day for 102 degree Fahrenheit. And I'm pretty sure converted to Celsius, that's 38 degrees Celsius. I would complain, report to them. Oh, they had such backhanded excuses for everything. Like, and it was all like, oh, we didn't anticipate this, but, you know, it's a good thing to be adaptable, and blah, blah, blah. Or, like, oh, you know, working a 12-hour shift, you know, it happens sometimes. It's like, yeah, under my jurisdiction, this was forced upon me. And, you know, everybody was talking about how it was supposed to be fun and everything, and it wasn't. If everything would have gone to plan, I think it would have been an amazing weekend. But, no. And then Saturday's shift wasn't anything real interesting. But then there's the topic of my trainers. I was talking to someone a couple of days ago about it. Or not a couple of days ago, yesterday. And so I have our conversation pulled up so that way I can kind of remember some pointers. Because I was venting a lot to them before all this. So, first things first, the company wants to, like, maintain this culture and, like, make it a more fun place to work and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure every company strives for that. They want their employees to have some sort of fun and, you know, make friends at work and all that fun stuff. Like, I get that. Like, I can completely understand why you'd want that for your company. I think it's a good thing to have friends within your workplace and things like that. I think it's really, to have a welcoming environment makes people's first steps into a new job all the much more comfortable. So, when we were at the training unit, that was one of the first things that they talked about. The fact that they wanted to establish friendships and make people feel welcome. And they made sure to tell us, like, you're not going to be in the way. You're going to have lots of questions and I want you to ask them and blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, when I started working and I started making stuff, they would ask me, like, it's a coffee shop, right? So they were like, okay, how many ounces of milk do you have to steam for this drink or something like that? And I would be like, is it this number? And she would say, no, it's this number. Because this, and this. You lost me. Why in the world did I need a 10 billion year long answer to a simple question of yes or no? Or no, guess again. Like, I completely understanding why something is the way that it is. But in early training, you just want to give them the gist of it. And they always argued that this was the way we were trained to train. But if something works best, well, that was actually the thing. My trainer specifically asked me, like, how best do you learn? I was like, I'm a very hands-on learner. Like, I don't retain anything that's just fed into my ear or something I read. I have to do it in order for me to retain it. And she's like, oh yeah, that's great. I love knowing how everybody learns so I can accommodate. Well, then she started these big, long answers to the questions, and I even told her, like, hey, when you shove so much information at me, I don't retain any of it. Like, it's just too much. So I want some smaller answers so that way I can retain the important information. And she goes, well, that was the way I was trained to train. So why did you offer me accommodation in the first place? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Not to mention, they made this whole big deal about, like, establishing friendships and, like, making them feel welcome. And yet my trainer was grouped with her best friend. So, like, every time I turned around, my trainer was missing. Not that if I asked him any questions, it was helpful for me anyway. It shouldn't have been as much as it was. Because, one, there is no reason for a 10 billion year long answer to a simple yes or no guess again question. You know what I mean? Two, I've been working fast food for the first 10 years of my adult life. I like to think I know what I'm doing and I know how best to retain this information. There is no reason this should have felt as much as it was. I feel like I had a third thing and I can't remember now. Like, it's just, it was really, the biggest thing was that there is such thing as too much information at once. And not to mention, so, like I said, the store, my boss wants us to have fun and make friends and things like that. So there is the option to request songs to add to the queue, and we get to listen to our own music. That music was way too loud. That's why I'm losing my voice. Everything I said, I had to shout. Which is not a good training environment. And the trainers thought that the best way to teach us was to scream instructions at us as well. There was so much unnecessary screaming, it was ridiculous. But yeah, like, it was a very long weekend, and there's a part of me that says now, looking back, now that it's over, it was fun, but it really wasn't. Like, I had no downtime. Like, the Friday, the long day, I never had an opportunity to call Bradley, and it made me really sad. It was just a really long weekend, and I'm glad it's over. And so we traveled apparently with the director of the company, right? He and the other guy were talking at the airport on our way back home. And he started talking about when we went to get stuff from the stand on our first day when we got there. And, like, I got, like, a flavored sweet tea, and I was like, it wasn't quite sweet enough, in my opinion. And the director of the company said, I bet it was inconsistencies in the measurements or something like that. I was like, I mean, to error is human. Whoever made my drink just might have underportioned the sweetener. It's not that big a deal. Like, people make mistakes. He goes, does that make it right? I'm like, well, I mean, no, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it. He goes, well, when you're paying as much as we're charging for coffee, things should be perfect. I'm ready for someone else to tell me that they expect perfection, and I will walk out the door. I'm not even kidding. Because it's really not fair to expect perfection out of anybody. Especially me. So yeah. That was my long-ass weekend. And I'm just glad it's over. So they're worried that they get a bad reputation rating. Basically, they think that everything needs to be made correctly because one person complaining. If one person complains, that person tells 2 people. Those 2 people tell 2 more people each, and blah, 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 blah. It's really stupid. Like, I've never had a good experience at Chipotle, so I just don't go there. Is Chipotle still open? Yeah. And I tell people all the time I've never had a good experience. And does it stop them? No. People go somewhere because they want the product. That's it. Like, don't read super far into it. It's ridiculous. And that's all corporate does. Corporate just reads really far into it, and they nitpick all the good people because they expect perfection. I'm actually ready to be fired because I openly told my one manager that I'm actually an introvert. And he was surprised because he really couldn't tell because I'm good at hiding it. But yeah, I'm ready to be fired because I'm an introvert. When this company is all about, you know, everybody is an individual, but you have to be, like, energetic and like, you know, fit the culture, which I guess like introverts or wallflowers don't really fit that. But, you know, no matter how good at my job I am, if I don't fit in with the culture, I'll be fired. So, yeah. I'm hoping that once the training's over, if I don't get fired, then things will be fine. But so long as the training's going on and corporate is involved, I might be walking on eggshells. I don't know. The director of the company also tries to make this out to be like the perfect place to work and everything. And yeah, there are a lot of people who really like it and things like that, but like, that doesn't mean everybody's gonna like it. And like, he doesn't believe in giving people grace to making mistakes. He thinks that like corporate believes. They believe that you should get it right the first time and be perfect all the time. And that right there is how you burn people out. And it's not right. You'd be working full-time streaming if you get fired. I mean, I guess. But I mean, if I'm not working, I am gonna commit more time to streaming versus, like, because there is a potential of making some income off of it. So, yeah, I would pick up more streaming until I find another job. But I do need to find something that'll be like a constant income and things like that, because it's not fair to Bradley. So, but yeah, there's my rant and rave and some updates. This is gonna be fun to edit. Lack of communication is one of my biggest pet peeves. Bad training is even bigger. Because, like I said, like, if you're being trained into a new job, your first steps in there need to be welcoming and comfortable. Otherwise, they're not going to stick around. A small part of me almost regrets going to Arkansas. It felt like it was more of a waste of my time since I didn't retain any information. I was hoping to get more training, but that wasn't how it worked. It more so just... I think it hurt me more than it helped me in the long run because everything fell apart. I guess we wait and see. I start next week.